Love Arsenal.
Oh yes,
We are Arsenal.
no mercy.
We're Arsenal. Forever. We are Arsenal.
Road to Wembley.
We love Arsenal.
Oh yes,
We are Arsenal.
can't stop us.
We're Arsenal. Forever. Sorry, Adams. Ray Parler.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to your Transfer Daily. And it's from us guys here at Armoury TV, courtesy FTB Sports. It's great to have you guys on board, and look, we're discussing everything that's going on transfer-wise at the Arsenal. Today, have my esteemed guests, Mr. SilvaFoxAFC,
Good afternoon.
GunnerKing, and Gumsa. How we doing, guys? We good today?
All good,
So,
man.
Can't
All good.
complain.
Good. It's a lovely afternoon out there. Weather's lovely. Do we have very lovely transfer news for the Arsenal? I mean, look, listen. There's a lot of things going around from Xhaka going to Roma, etc. But I guess the 3 points that I wanted to discuss with you guys today was Villarreal submitting their offer for Bellerin. I mean. I can see we'll kind of join our eyes on this one. Someone I saw on Twitter, actually, I think it was on maybe your thread, King, that the offer come in, and then someone else tweeted saying that Arteta's pulled a masterstroke. He's kind of lost to Villarreal, right? Let them win the UEFA, Europa League, so they have the money to buy Bellerin.
Yeah, so they got the money
King.
and the Champions League,
Yes.
the money and the Champions League football. That was it. Man's playing 8D chess out here. Yeah, that has got to be tweet of the year, man.
When I saw that,
That's
I
got
was
to be
just
tweet of the year, man. Seriously, it's hilarious. But
I mean, give me your thoughts on that. I mean, listen. I mean, it all depends. We know he's looking to go. He has been making noises to leave. His form's dramatically dipped since he had his major injury. We know he's fully fit, but he's lost that yard in pace, and that's obviously killed him as a player. Good deal for all around, really, right, King? If we can get the right money for him.
yeah, I mean, look, if we can get the right money for him, I think it's good for Bellerin in a sense that he gets to work with Emery, who always showed faith in him, and he's a known kind of entity to him. Villarreal now having Champions League football, I think will definitely appeal to him as well. Being back in Spain, because I think really there's an element of homesickness to it as well. I've been seeing a few things about when he was going through injury. He was talking about how that kind of affected his mental health, and even like things like drinking came into it as well, which is understandable with lockdown as well, like compounding that. And yeah, I think the idea was to go back to Barcelona one day, but that ship sailed. They got 4 right backs. They just exercised the buyback clause to bring in Emerson from Betis back. So I don't think Barcelona's on the cards. So I know Betis are in for him as well to replace that guy, Emerson. And I've heard he's a Betis fan, apparently. I worry if Betis have the finances and also for him.
I mean, what kind of fee do you think Bellerin should or could command?
I mean, I think in today's market, I think 20 million plus add-ons should be what we're going for him.
Yeah.
Because look, he's not a bad right back. In my opinion, he's a right back who is more suited to an attacking style of play, but he needs a good centre back next to him, and I think since Koscielny, he's not had that.
Do you know what? I understand what you're saying there, and Gumsa gave us one of his trademark looks there. That
Eyebrows go up.
all our trademark looks.
I mean, look at Trent Alexander-Arnold, right? For example, yeah, Trent's.
We're not disputing what you're saying. I think the comment was maybe an attacking style of play that I don't see Bellerin as an attacking fullback these days. But hugs the line. I think that's the kind of thing what we're looking for because we have that with Tierney. So that allows Saka or Pepe to kind of come inside. What Bellerin does, for me, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but he runs kind of sideways when he's going forward, like he's coming inside. And that then constricts all our playing where we have no width whatsoever. I mean, fair enough, yes, he's going forward, but he just comes inside and it constricts the play for us and we have no width. I mean, would you, Gumsa? I mean, is that the kind of thing where what you see with Bellerin and what he's doing in terms of him? I don't know. He just seems to have lost his way. Maybe what King said, rightly so, with his mental well-being, that has played a major part. You know, listen, everyone deals with adverse, really bad injuries in their own way. That might be, he still might be having effects of that. I mean, but we do need someone else, and getting 20 million as King has, I reckon that's pretty much the ballpark figure what we'll get from him. Do you think that would be a good bit of business for the player? I mean, Champions League football, and also for the club.
I think if we get 20 mil plus, that is amazing business. He's not a 20 million pound player.
No,
really?
No, he's not. I don't think he is. I don't see anything in him.
What would be your valuation for him?
I'll be honest, like he's in a Mustafi in that bracket with me. Like
free?
Yeah, like I wouldn't be looking at him anyway. Like
come on, man.
I said I've been done with Bellerin for years.
That's fair.
To take him.
That's fair enough, but like what you've got to buy into as well is what his capabilities are. Of late, recently. For like maybe the last season or two, he hasn't been good. But let's not forget the right back he was when he broke through onto the scene.
But was he that good, or was that just Arsenal fans being Arsenal fans? Like
no, dude,
he was pacey. He's always been lightning quick. But when you lose that pace, it's like Kyle Walker. I think if Kyle Walker was to lose that pace.
So guys, time. We just had this from. We need to obviously corroborate and just make sure that this is actually true. So all Premier League teams that entered the ESL European Super League ordered to pay 20 million. I'm not sure if that's euros or pounds to the Premier League. So boys, there's goes. That's a huge fine. We obviously have to confirm that, but that's huge. I mean, I thought it would have been something in the region of around 6-7 million euros or something like that. But we'll obviously have to check and make sure that I don't know whether it's 20 million euros or pounds. But that's
it'd be interesting to see.
That'll put us then at break even then with Bellerin.
Bellerin subsidizes that, but it'd be interesting where that money's going to. Who's actually sanctioned that? Do you know what I mean? Like, it'd be interesting to see where that's gone.
It should go back to the fans. It should really go back to all the, whatever fan programs there are out there. That's where the money will go. But the FA cronies, Premier League cronies.
Oh no, it's breaking in the last 5 minutes.
Okay,
it is breaking news.
Okay, so that's huge. That is huge.
20 million pounds. There you go. It's right there.
20 million pounds. Wow.
Yep.
We could have done with that as well.
Kroenke said he's going to pay all associated costs out of his own pocket.
He has to. He absolutely has to, because that's on him. That needs to come out of his coffers. Nothing leveraged on Arsenal, because that's not an Arsenal thing. And if any way he tries to put some kind of levy on us fans through that through that fine, that's an absolute and utter piss. Sorry, I'm absolutely fuming at. That's a piss take.
Yeah.
If that does not come out of his own coffers, it
has to. Right, it has to.
That's an absolute wow.
Well, face 30 points deduction.
Yes.
Wow.
That's big.
Wow.
That's huge.
That's
Premier League's not playing, but
Well, that's the
Yeah,
thing. Yeah,
that's-
that would relegate us.
Yeah, on our how we did last season. Yeah, that's relegation.
He better pay
That's
money.
relegation.
Could you imagine
that-
a relegation battle
that man
between
better pay that
Arsenal,
money.
Liverpool, Man United, City, Chelsea? Could you imagine
Could
that?
you imagine?
I find it's strange though. Like, not trying to throw things back to other topics, but they've come down so hard on it. But what about some of the other stuff that goes on in football, which just gets swept under the carpet? Like,
Racism.
it bothers me. Like,
Yeah.
is that just an English FA?
Yeah,
fine that there.
it's
Yes.
Premier League.
So
Yeah.
so what? When the game's
Right.
being brought into dispute, like, there's not enough being done. Otherwise, you know what I mean? And that's a big sanction. And look how quick they've come to terms with. Like, it's just straight to the point.
It's definitely in there.
30
Just
points.
Where-
30
where
points or
is-
20 mil.
Yeah, just one
Where
point.
is this?
And big up for the for the feed for that.
Yeah, definitely.
This
Thank
is
you for that.
breaking news
I'll definitely have a read of that later.
Yeah.
And again, we'll probably touch on it later anyway. I don't want to spend too much time because
Yeah, it's
you
true.
haven't read up on it really, and honestly. But yeah, it's a bit surprising how quick they can
That's
come up with
severe.
that.
That is severe.
Yeah.
Very severe.
And-
So we're talking 6 teams. They're going to get 20 mil. Oh my god. Sorry.
Mr. Breaking News over here.
Nip's sake, Mr. Breaking News there. Look, we're getting it flipping heck. I didn't even know PSG made an offer of 50, but hey, blows us out the water. That's the thing. But anyway, listen.
I always knew that transfer weren't realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
considering
There's no way.
they bought for
There's
about
no way.
86, didn't they? I think Inter. So they're going to want to profit on him. He's young, he's brilliant, he's quick, he's decisive in the tackle. So hey, but then again, hey, there's a little thought there. If Chelsea get him, Reece James.
We'll go for Aspilicueta.
Because you got to remember as well. Chelsea play with a back three quite often. If you look at the Champions League final, Reece James actually played as the third auxiliary centre back, similar to Carl Walker. It's not going to sacrifice.
Why they go for
Huh?
Hakim? Was certainly playing his position, right?
Because Aspilicueta's old, and what good clubs actually do is they're proactive about replacing their old players. They don't wait for them to retire, unlike some teams,
God, I
aka
hate
Arsenal Football Club.
The voice of truth and reason.
He's always got an
I hate
answer.
By the way, right?
No, but you know
If your
what?
replacement's,
It's
if your
true.
replacement's already available,
Yeah.
then none of this. You need to sell players to buy players. Bollocks. Just get it done.
Yeah.
Showing us how it's done once again.
In an ideal world, isn't it?
As much as I hate to say it, it's big club mentality at the end of the day. Listen, Mr. Silver Fox, back to all things Bellerin. That sounds so. I can't believe I'm mentioning Hakim and then going to Bellerin. Flip sake.
I'll just go on to the next one. I have to agree. Who said that he started well? He started well. That was you, Gunner, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think that his injuries have affected his game immensely, and I think going to Spain would actually do him the world of good.
Nice bit of
So,
sun. Weather in Villarreal.
well, yeah. When he first came in, his game suited the Premier League, and he's just fallen off the pace, and he has to go. He's not good enough.
You're right. I think he has been exposed somewhat. I think relied a lot on his pace to
100%.
recover.
Once he lost that,
Yeah, even half a yard of pace, losing
Let's
that.
all
If that's
appreciate
your
that
game.
tackle against Bayern Munich. Let's just appreciate that from him.
that was good. Yeah, I said he had some good moments, but when you actually look at his overall game, he's not a great right back. And again, you get it with pacey players. They can get through things because they got that recovery pace. Whereas, there's some defenders. Again, you look at Wan-Bissaka. He's not great going forward. He's not the paciest, but you can't beat him one-on-one. Do you know what I mean? And if you're not good going forward, well, I don't think Bellerin is great going forward. And you're not good defensively. Actually, what are you offering? So I would allow a Trent if you're going to be giving me 15 assists, 10 assists a season, and you're just generally a threat going forward. Then defensively you can be a bit weaker. But if you're not giving either or,
did he have any?
then-
I'm not even sure. Did he have any?
he had a couple of assists and stuff. Like he had moments, but it's just too few and far between for me. He's not. Like again, when you're playing Liverpool,
he's not a threat.
Yeah.
and he's certainly not solid. He's not
I
solid.
think he allows teams to double up on Pepe. If I know I've only got to worry about him, I'm not even really focused on him. Let me double up on Pepe and we'll get to him when it gets there. Whereas I think when you're Liverpool, I think teams have always got one eye on Trent. So all of a sudden now it might allow Salah more space because you're so worried about if Trent gets the ball, what he can do. Do you know what I mean? And that's, where the problems come in for us. We haven't got enough threats. So it's very easy to lock down Aubameyang or Saka, whoever it is, where they're trying to, because there's no other threats really. So,
Pepe, I think that's why Pepe thrives when he plays with Cedric or someone that actually overlaps. But look, okay. Look, so wait one sec, Gumsa, you never gave us a realistic price we could get for Bellerin.
if I'll be honest,
It could be upwards of 10 million.
If I was on Football Manager, I'll be looking at 12.5, 10. Like,
I know you get about 40 million.
He's value double that.
His injuries and everything as well. I don't think if it was the flip side and we were trying to get Bellerin now and we was paying 20 million, I'd be fuming. I just don't see.
What's your ceiling then for him?
15 mil max. I don't think. Yeah, I think you got to see what's coming through. When you see what players are out there, like to spend 20-something million on Bellerin is.
That's
I don't think Hakimi's 40 million pounds better than
no,
Bellerin.
I think that's inflated. But yeah, when you look at some of the right backs that are out there,
but that's what you've got to do. Like, do you know what I mean? Like what you said about the inflation part, that you can't exempt that from Bellerin either.
Exactly.
If that's what these other clubs are playing for right backs, then
put it up.
You put it up, man. Like
I'm not against Arsenal taking 20 mil. Don't get me wrong, but I've said if I'm the buy-in team,
we can 100% get. We can get 20 million.
I'm not disputing if we can get 20, 25, 30. I'll bite your hand off all day. But
what you're saying is, if I was
the Real manager, I'm not going to spend more than 15 on it, especially with the injury problems he's had as well. Like that's a risk. Do you know what I mean?
Villarreal aren't even the only interested club. That's what we got to remember. We hold the card.
Let's hope
Betis have lots of interest in him as well, and I've heard even PSG. From some sources have been looking at him. No, but Bellerin.
But I think that's a lot of transfers. Again,
it might be like a plan B or a plan C option. I don't know, but they do have interest as well.
We'll send him to Wolfsburg.
Yeah. Time will tell. The good thing I'm happy with is
we're coming to Wolfsburg, and
in fact, there was other stories that I was seeing about Juventus being interested in Bellerin as well and offering a swap for Ramsey. So when you've got that many clubs circling,
who's going to go?
The Italian clubs ain't got no money, and I think that's a problem. That's why the Italian clubs are looking to do those kind of deals. Guys, I want to move on. Obviously, now is today what was breaking. Not so much a transfer of players, but pretty much more transfer in terms of ownership. Daniel Ek made a new bid of just over 2 billion, to about 2.2 billion. Now, thanks very much, Arslan. We absolutely right. Fingers crossed this works out. I think. I'm going to come to you, Mr. SilvaFox. If this happens, how quick do you think this could happen? Obviously, we all want it to happen, but how quick do you think this can happen? If, let's just say tomorrow, they say, we'll accept the bid. If you've got the money, show us the contracts, etc., and we're good to go. How quick do you think this could happen? And
with the Kroenkes, it'll probably drag out.
Yeah.
Because I think the Kroenkes will try and bleed more out of him. I was saying earlier to
he was not playing words there. I like that. I like the way he did that. Eat more money out of. Okay, no, maybe not.
Well, I was saying to Gunner earlier. I said that look, Kroenke should be looking at that game. Well, look, we ain't got Europe next year, so we're going to lose a lot of money on that. We're not going to be showing us on TV as much like this season and previous seasons. So they're going to lose money on that. So they should look at that and go, but this geezer, he's offering this amount of money. Just take it and run. But this is the Kroenkes.
The thing is, I worry about this because Gumsa, I don't think it's going to happen. I really don't. I just don't think they're going to sell. I mean, how, if it was to happen, as I, same thing with Silverfox, how quick could it? And also, what would that do to our summer transfer fund or dealings or whatever with a whole new kind of? Would everything be thrown into chaos?
Yeah, I think it would be massive change, and yeah, I see it happening before the window's out. If he does buy it now, I'll be really shocked, because what you've seen in the past is a lot of kind of consortiums wait till the transfer window is shut before they take over, isn't it? So it's like, get through the window, then we come in. It would be lovely if it did happen. I think the fact he's coming for a second bid means that there was some sort of positive talk held in the first place, because I think if it was a straight out and out no, and you definitely knew it was a no, I don't think he would have come back in. Obviously, we know the Cronkies came out and said they're not selling, but in them private talks, maybe there was a little bit of, maybe we could look at something if the money was up. So for me, for him to come out so soon again with another bid means there must have been something positive in the first meeting for him to come back. So yeah, I'm hoping there is some legs in it. I really am. I don't think it will happen soon. However, having the Euros on, do you know what I mean? It could be a way where you could get down and and talk within the 2 week period, 2-3 week period.
Yeah, I think something like with the Euros being a distraction, it can be seen as a good time to kind of air dirty and get business done.
Get things done
under the radar.
Yeah, so yeah, fingers crossed it's something that can be worked on. I don't see it happening before summer, personally. And again, maybe this is why we're working so hard on outgoings at the moment, and then worrying about incomings soon, because maybe it's a case of actually we're not giving you anything to spend because we might be selling up. So whatever you earn, you can reinvest it, and we'll see where we're going. So yeah, that could be a reason why we are maybe a bit we're not slow for Arsenal, but it's slow in terms of other teams and how they're getting
slower than normal. But
yeah,
but I guess King. Moving on to you, we've got this chat here from Jason. He's obviously piggyback to what I said, and obviously not to mention he could end up having to cover 20 mil for the fine as well. It could be ideal for Kroenke to let Ek worry about the Super League fiasco. I think there could be some legs in that, with Kroenke thinking, oh, for God's sake, this is the last straw. I've got this £20 million fine. Fair enough. I can't leverage. He might be smart and say, look, I can't leverage off the company. Look, why don't I just sell it? Be done with it, washed hands, let him deal with it. The thing is, the fact that we haven't bought anyone and we are looking to sell, as Gumsa said, do you think that there could be some legs in this bid, and they're actually mulling over the idea of actually selling for that price of 2.2, because they would make a huge profit on that?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think everything in life has its price, and I think the opening bid was nowhere near that price. We all know the art of the negotiation, starts in this manner. Yeah. So I agree with Gumsa in that, if something categorical had been said about not selling the club, then he wouldn't be coming back in. But also, I know that he's a fairly bullish businessman. He
doesn't make that much money with being a fool. So yeah.
So I mean, he's not taking no for an answer either. It's a case of a powerful force meeting an immovable object. One of those things. So I expect this to go on for some time. To answer Jason's comment, I really don't think 20 million in the grand scheme of things, who pays the fine, is going to really have any bearing on whether they buy or sell the club. I mean, these are
are you talking about in terms of Egg or Kroenke, who would pay that? I tell you who would make a big deal about us fans. If anyway that was leveraged or prices put up in any way to subsidize that, I think that's an absolute piss take. And I think that's the kind of thing that he would probably do.
Yeah, I know, but the point I'm making is, like, he's already committed he's gone on, Josh Kroenke's gone on record and said, as part of their apology, they would already pay all associated costs to ESL, and they already had a fine previously, which they paid. I can't remember who it was to, but they've already paid one of the fines. Yeah. So, I mean, look, it would be absolute career suicide for them to try and leverage the fine against the club now, having not only messed up the whole situation, but having gone on record and committing to doing that. That isn't going to have a bearing. That my point remains that that's not going to have a bearing on the Kroenkes on whether they sell the club, and it's not going to have a bearing on Eck if he buys the club. Like, that is literally loose change under the mattress. It's loose change under the mattress to these guys. Do you know what I mean? Like, play money. So, I definitely think Eck is very serious. That he's got money behind him. I think even beyond this 2.2 billion, I think they've sat down as a consortium and said, this is where we would go to. And I reckon it's probably around the 2.8 to 3 billion mark that they've kind of earmarked, to aside. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, look, if you actually look now at the share price index value, and then totaled up Arsenal shares in this COVID environment, it's still at around that figure.
What, 2.8, 2.2?
Yeah, well, like our value, the value of the club.
Jesus.
And that's in a COVID infected market, mate.
Yeah, that's
like
crazy.
we are no little club out here. Do you know what I me? Like, the stadium, how much it can see. All of our, we're the 8th largest revenue generator of football clubs in the world, not just in England. Yeah, like, so, I think they've definitely got funds aside there to keep going, and more power to them. We need to get these Kroenkes out of here. They're done out here. We need to get them out. It's not going to happen over the summer, and it's even if it does, it's going to be too soon to turn around to impact budgets. I'm not even interested in the money. It's not about the money. It's about caring about this club.
It's about caring. It's about culture. It's about putting. They know to put the fans first, etc.
It's the custodians. Like wanting to bring fan custodians and fan representation back to the football club, and wanting to bring people that have been involved in the success of this football club, that have Arsenal in their DNA, putting them in the front seat as well, in Armoury, Bergkamp and Vieira as well. It's that I care about more than the money. Obviously the money's great, but
just to touch on that, on those guys, do you think there was any chance that they could tarnish their legendary statuses?
I had this convo the other day with someone. I said, I don't want Henri ever to come and manage this club.
Forget about managing the club.
I know they're in a different department, so they're just overseeing. But again, I think we have a real high expectation at the moment. And I think I'm not going to say we're toxic, but our expectations are massive. We've been treated so badly so long. Some of the things I hear people moan about. Honestly, some of the things I hear people moan about, I'm like, we're just not moaning for moan's sake, but it's actually just relax a bit and take time and see what pans out. I'm not saying, I know we've been here before, and again, we've moaned. I was one that was fuming with this season. We only signed Petr Cech. But actually, there's been other teams. I think Spurs went for a season they didn't sign anybody. Like, we've had bad things, but then other teams have had it worse. I know people were saying about we need to get a big manager in and whatever else. And then you look down the road at what Moyes done at West Ham. Moyes isn't a great manager, and West Ham are a smaller club, and he's managed to put things out. People said about signings, we've actually signed some of our better players have cost less, like a Martinelli, a Guendouzi. They haven't been massive signings. So for me, it's not about just pumping hundreds of millions. I'm seeing the Hakimi thing. That might not work out. We spent 72 on Pepe. He's coming to life now, but actually, I just want to see a bit of direction. Do you know what I mean? And like just making correct choices. So if someone hasn't worked out, we might have spent 50 mil, hasn't worked out. Okay, let's get them off the books early. where we can make a bit of money on and not just let the contracts run down like we have previously. So, yeah, I think if they come with the right idea, I'm not expecting them to be, if Henry's involved, it's not going to be like how Chelsea do it. So we can't compare with Chelsea. Don't compare with Chelsea. Don't compare with Man City. Like, just do things, do you know what I mean? Just do things our way and just give a bit of time and a bit of patience. You know what I mean? It can't just be resolved overnight.
Really got patience. I think the guys have worn our patience pretty thin, and it'll be hard.
Yeah. And I get that. And I think, sorry, just wait, I read that. I think it's even what's directed at Edu sometimes. It's like we're blaming Edu for everything, and he's only been in the job a year. Like, yes, I get
So carry on.
That's fine. As I said, so for me, it's let's judge Edu in this year, next window, and things like that. Don't judge him on Gazidis and Wenger's mistakes. Don't judge him on Emery and those guys' mistakes. Like, let Edu do his job. We just put everyone into the same bracket. So Kroenke's Kroenke. Yes, he doesn't give enough money. Kroenke can't be to blame for Mustafi, for Granit Xhaka, for those guys. Do you know what I mean? That is Gazidis and Wenger. When we're losing Alexis, that's nothing really to do with Kroenke, because the money was there for a contract. It's the direction of the club. So if we had done business different, it might have worked. So don't get me wrong, Kroenke is a massive problem, but focus Kroenke on what Kroenke's done wrong. Don't focus
Kroenke on. That would be an
Kroenke
interesting thing, because there's a lot of theories about that, and whether or not these, if they were to come in, these custodians, as we call them, whether or not they'll be that bit more transparent with the goings on and how things were done, because everybody has their theory.
And
obviously,
I've seen clubs. I don't know if you remember Leyton Orient, when their chairman was heavily involved and was doing madness. And actually, sometimes it doesn't work having a chairman who's overly involved. Like Chelsea, there's been times when Chelsea fans have questioned Roman. Do you know what I mean? And he is there to be seen. And there's some managers, like some chairmen, who you might not see at all, and they're successful.
But you know
what? Can I just say?
Go ahead.
Can I just say, I'm sorry, like I have to disagree with one said about Chelsea and Chelsea. Saying Chelsea do things their way, we do things our way. Like, we need to look at the way that it's being successful in today's model. Yeah, like I'm sick and tired of this sustainable model bullshit. And I will pardon my French, right? Wait, let me finish. Right, yeah.
Sorry, go on.
So let's look at the last decade. Let's look at the last 20 years, yeah. The two most successful teams in England have been Manchester City and Chelsea, yeah. And they have said, forget the sustainable model stuff, yeah. For a period of, say, 3 to 5 years or whatever, they've invested heavily and they've not necessarily thought of the balance sheet, yeah. But then what's happened is they've become successful, and then they built on that success, and then they formed it, and then they started culling, and then they started balancing stuff. Chelsea is now a profitable business. Manchester City is now a profitable business. Yeah, right. Yeah. So you got to go through that bit of pain financially, and we've got the cash reserves, and we've got the ability to generate revenue that is almost as good as these clubs. Yeah. But we are constantly thinking of what is sustainable. But what isn't sustainable is not being competitive anymore. Yeah,
100%.
Let's be clear on that. Yeah,
100%
so for 3 to 5 years, yeah, we need to use that model.
Yeah,
we need to use that model.
I hear that. But we say that.
None of we could let me finish as well. Yeah, right. Leicester winning the league was the exception and not the norm. Yeah, Liverpool. Yeah, Liverpool. I'm not saying just bring people in and spend money, because obviously Liverpool have got that Edwards guy. Yeah, Leicester have got good football people that, on top of spending money, know where and how to spend money. So I'm not. You need to be well run, and Chelsea and City are well run as well.
Yeah, they're well run.
Ultimately, putting this ceiling on where we can go to get players. I mean, we just spoke about Hakimi now. We're like, Hakimi's not realistic because of his cost, not because of his ability, not because of his quality, because of the cost. And you know what? Where's that going to get us? Where's that going to get Chelsea or PSG, wherever he goes to? It's going to get them another trophy. You get what I'm saying?
But when this is,
I'm not hearing that.
I do fully understand that. Just the flip side, as you said, you mentioned Liverpool. They've got the same model as us and done it correctly, and look what they're doing. Leicester have gradually grown where they're now competing with top four. If you remember a few years ago when there was talk about Abramovich losing his visa, do you remember how the Chelsea fans were panicking? Because he's bankrolling them, so it can only last so long when you bankroll. If he turns around next week, so I'm gone, they're in the mud. PSG at the moment financially are all over the place. Barcelona are in crazy debt. Real Madrid are in crazy debt because these lot go crazy with spending, and it might work for a year or two. But then look at them now. PSG still haven't won the Champions League, and look how much money they're throwing it. They're now talking. Mbappe could be leaving on a free next year because his contract's up. Like that to me is not sustainable. Yes, it might bring you short-term goals and success. Don't get me wrong. Chelsea and City on the flip have done things very well, and they've managed to get themselves in the position where they're in now. But it doesn't always work like that. There's probably more teams actually you could look at who have thrown money at things and ended up in a worse position.
It doesn't, but
So
For me,
the thing is, to be clear though, to be
clear,
yeah, with Chelsea and City, they are profitable businesses now. So if their owners left, they are in a place where, you know, it might apply to a PSG, as you're saying, but that's what I'm saying. Like Chelsea, it took them, you know, a while, but they are now profitable. They now turn profit. Yeah. So if Abramovich left, they've got the foundation in place to be able to live without him.
Guys, I want to draw this one to
it.
a close. No, thank you. Guys, I want to draw this one to a close. And I think you're both right in what you're saying. I think there's a balance that needs to be had here, basically. You can spend that money. And if you run correctly, you will then get to a stage where you can sell, buy in a, you know, respectable and self-sustaining way. And I think, and I get both arguments. I get GunnerKing's argument where he's saying that, look, spend the money first off. We've got the people in place that can make a sustainable model, but you spend that money, become successful, the money will come in, and then you kind of you'll hit a plateau of how much you're actually spending. And then after that, the business model becomes sustainable. And I understand what you're saying, Gumsa, is that you can't have these sugar daddies, you know, for the whole period of existence, because look, people come and go at the end of the day. Abramovich, you know, where can Chelsea, where will Chelsea be in the next 40 years from now? And we're talking long term, I know, but that is, we want Arsenal and we want our club to be obviously self-sustaining, so they're around hundreds of years, you know, from now and stuff. Listen, it was a great debate, and but guys, what I wanted to do is pretty much move on, because we've got loads of like comments coming in, and we just want to say please smash the likes and subscribe. Want to move on lastly, which was on my agenda, but and I want to try and bring it to a close after this, is let's talk about William Saliba going on loan to Newcastle. Now, I'll give my little 2 pence. My 2 pence is that I don't want to see him going on loan. I think it'll be good to see pre-season him try and prove himself. If he looks good, I'd say give him a run, to see if he can sink and swim. Because right now, I feel we need players like him, strong, athletic, good on the ball. I think, yes, he's young. Yes, he will make mistakes. Yes, it's a new league he's coming into. However, I think he is good enough. Otherwise, we would not have spent £27 million on him. I'm going to come first to Mr. Silver Fox, because I know the centre defence is very close to your heart.
I'm going to record this.
You think it's all to do rolling, didn't you?
No, I don't.
No, you do.
Mr. Silver Fox, Saliba on loan to Newcastle, good or bad move?
I'm all for it. It's a great move if he does it. The French league, how many times have we said it? I know GunnerKing doesn't agree with me, but
listen, you've got some gems coming out of that French league. I mean, we can go back to what. You know what?
I worry for him. I worry for him because our fan base, they all wanted to rush him in. We'll rush him in. He clocks up in his first few games, and then they rubbish him. Send him out on loan to Newcastle. Premier League club, mid-table, Newcastle team. I mean, I know we're mid-table these days, but get him in there. It's true. Get him in there. He'll get some more minutes that way as well. and we'll go from there.
Okay, here's the thing: we signed him on a 4-year contract, I believe.
Yeah.
That'll be 3 years.
No, I know.
So then he's
Yeah,
only
but
got a
he's-
year left.
to be fair
Coming
to him,
back to us.
he's had some difficult times in the last year, and he was with us for half the year, and I could see why they sent him out on loan back to France. You know, he lost his mother and all that, so that all made sense. Now is the time to test him in the Premier League, but with a different club. I have a big fear for him. That's my main problem, if you like, with Saliba. So, and with our fan base, and I just want to protect him. Let him go on loan.
I think he's got a bit of credit with us. Okay, I'm going to talk about me personally. I think the amount of money we spent, he's young, he's destined for big things. I mean, I think he's got that little bit of time, like like a player coming through the ranks. Everyone gives that player, one of our own, that little bit more kind of time to kind of settle in if they have a bad game or whatever. We'll give them that little bit of leeway, and I think Saliba would have that. King, do you agree?
So, I agree with both of you in part, right? I don't think we should, and I've been on a few other shows and I've spoken about this, and I'm seeing fans saying automatically him and Gabriel should be our partnership for next season. That's crazy. I'm not saying it's not possible. What I'm saying is we got to remember this is a 20-year-old kid, right? And Tony's right. I don't rubbish. I never used the Farmers League.
Captain by the age of 21. He was a regular when he was 20.
Yeah, but dude, right? Let's be realistic. Yeah, let's be realistic.
Saying, if he's good enough, he's old enough. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I mean, look, old enough and good enough. He's no Tony Adams. Do you know what I mean? Like,
you don't know that.
In footballing speaking, right? Yeah, like, but like what Tony was saying about the French league, I don't use the Farmers League tag. The Premier League is the best league in the world, but it doesn't mean that other leagues are where people go to die. But I do agree that we need to be sure and we need to be ready. He's ready. We need to be sure he's ready for the Premier League, because our fan base at the moment is not forgiving. It really isn't. Yeah, you look at how people are celebrating Xhaka and Bellerin. Because we've been given, we've been fed, and we've been peddled bullshit for so long, right? It's a sink or swim environment. And the thing about young players especially, right, is their confidence is especially fragile. Yeah, I don't care what young player you are, yeah, because like you're saying, yeah, Tony Adams was 21 when he broke into the first team. He would have had all the elders.
21. Captain was 21.
Yeah, you would have had all the elders being like, is he good enough? Is he like testing him in training? Then you would have had fans asking the same question. And look, we're not talking about an attacking player here, yeah, who can make a mistake and, someone comes in behind them and mops up. We're talking about a defender who, if he fucks up, the team is scoring. These mistakes stand out, yeah, and then these mistakes get held up. We don't talk about Saka or ESR or Pepe mistakes in the same way that we talk about Holding or Mustafi or Torreira or Kolasinac mistakes, David Luiz mistakes, yeah. And that's the reality of being a defender. That's the reality that a defender lives in. So what I'm saying is, this whole notion, people are just saying, like, with chest, with no evidence whatsoever, him and Gabriel can just like that become our best our pairing. That's dangerous. It's dangerous to the player. It's dangerous to our expectations, and it's dangerous to the whole team. Like, do you know what I mean? So I think what we need to do is just bring him in, assess him in pre-season, not put too much pressure on it beyond that, see what he does in pre-season, and if it transpires that in pre-season some of his performances are still questionable, then why not go to Newcastle, have half the season on loan there, put a recall clause in so that you can recall him if he performs, so that if January comes, we can be like, well, you know what? You did what you went to do, like Willock did just now. We'll take you back in January. We shouldn't be closed off to either idea, is what I'm saying. Like, and a lot of people are just like, no, he shouldn't go on loan. Well, on what basis? What has he done in the Premier?
I've got a question on the whole Gabriel Saliba thing. So obviously everyone's putting all their eggs in that basket, saying that those two are going to be our defensive pairing. All right, so if that's the case, where are you putting them?
Sorry, say that again. I didn't catch all of that.
Everyone's hyping up about a pairing with Saliba and Gabriel. But where are you putting them? So Gabriel on the left side and Saliba on the right? Okay, because Saliba has been playing for Saint-Etienne and Nice on the left side.
I think that's a good thing.
But he's right-footed anyway, so I mean, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I think that's a good thing. That shows me then he's comfortable with both feet.
Maybe,
Fox ain't having it. I know Fox ain't having it. That's why.
But he hasn't played on that side. He hasn't.
You're
asking for fair here. This is out of fear for him.
Yeah. Let me jump in, Gunner. So I don't like to agree with Gunner. But on this occasion, I'm going to agree with him. I'm 100% going to agree with him. Centre backs are a difficult position. I would have been more inclined to say, yeah, maybe keep him if we had Louise playing next to him. Just say we didn't have Gabriel. Then you've got someone to learn off. Again, Gabriel's only just learning the league. Do you know what I mean? He hit a bad bit of form. He's now picked up again. So you're throwing two in there. I get the comparison. We look at what Fofana done at Leicester.
He had Evans next to him.
He had a John Evans with him.
John Evans and Sionku. So again, that had a bit of experience next to him. Also, sometimes loans are good for these players. Like to go and play in a more of a defensive.
When he comes back to us, we've been screaming at our club about looking after contracts, etc. When he comes back to us, he's got a year left.
This is where
we then got a decision to make. Do we sell him for nothing and for hardly anything, or do we give him a new contract?
There's this notion of it's either one or the other is mad to me. If you remember when we loaned Suarez from Barcelona, part of the agreement was you can go to Arsenal, but you're signing an extra 2 years here. So if you do impress and we then sell, you've got an extra 2 years on your deal. And if you don't impress, you come back and you've got an extra 2 years on your deal. Like the notion of it's one or the other is crazy to me. These loans are important. If you look at Chelsea have the biggest youth academy. They have probably the best youth system in England.
That's all well and good. I hear what you're saying, but do you trust the Arsenal board or the contract gurus there to be creative enough to put a sensible deal on the table?
I think they're getting better. If you look at, we've managed to tie down Bellerin, we've managed to sign some better young players. Let's talk of ESR's getting a new contract. Saka got a new contract. We're getting better. And as I said, we can't keep judging things on the previous regime. Edu and Arteta are new. They're 1 year in. They're actually making some positive steps. So yes, we made a bad signing in Willian. And actually, after a year, we're looking to bin him off, which is a step in the right direction. Not every transfer is going to pay off straight away. It's how you react to that, to me, which is important. So I've got no fears if Saliba goes alone. When I watch, not saying everything's based on Chelsea, but this is the team where they're saying, actually look at their model. If you look at a lot of their loan signings, what they do, they send them into Europe first. So a lot of them go to Vitesse Arnhem, where they got the link. So a lot of them go into Europe first. And then the next loan, they come into England and either do Championship or Premiership. So if you look at a lot of the young players, they go into Europe first to learn. They can play a lot of football there. It is less pressure. It is less intense. You then come and do a loan in England. And you might do 1 or 2 loans in England. Look how long Tammy Abraham took to get into the starting 11. Mason Mount, who everyone's singing and dancing about, he was in the Championship with Derby. And he'd probably done loans before that. So me, the notion of if you do a loan, it means we're not going to keep you is madness to me. Even if Willett does another loan this year, so be it. Like, not every player has to be Saka or Sancho and be playing 30 games a season at 19 years old. Some players come through later. You look at what we had with Gnabry and Walcott. Walcott was the better player at that young age. Gnabry went off and done what he had to do. Now, if you're having a choice of Gnabry at 26 or Walcott at 26, you're biting your hand off for Gnabry at 26. So everyone's path is different. Some people get exposed to first team football earlier and they might break down like a Bellerin breaks down. And some of them might get exposed a bit later and actually go off and have an amazing career. So there's no right and wrong way of doing it. I think you've got to just assess it. Like Gunner's saying, he's a centre-back. We've all moaned about chopping and changing our centre-backs the last couple of years. Like this season, we've chopped and changed our centre-backs a lot. We've moaned about it. So actually, if we can be consistent with Holding and Gabriel this year and say, Saliba, actually, you'll be better off going and play 30 games at Newcastle, then so be it. Do you know what I mean? A winger's a bit different. If you're left wing, so just say Smith, just say we sign a 10 and Smith Rowe's back up to whichever Pepe, Saka and a number 10.
Okay.
He's going to get 35 minutes every game. He's going to, but you don't
Just a
bring on
question on that.
centre-backs every game.
You don't sub your centre backs. Yeah,
You don't sub your
correct.
centre-backs. So he's not going to get minutes.
Let's just say who are our 4 centre backs then going into the season?
For me, so I'll jump in just because I was going just now. I would say Gabriel and Mari on my left-sided. And then I would say Holding and Mavropanos. And the reason I say that is I'm not as concerned with Mavropanos' development. He's our future. Mavropanos is going to be back. So if Mavropanos only plays 8 games this season, so be it. Whereas if we play Saliba 8 games and then we end up selling him and lose money on Saliba, fans are going to be in uproar. So do you know what? Protect the investment. Let Saliba go and play. Mavropanos then gets the backup role. And if he doesn't develop and we sell him next year, we probably make, I can't remember how much we signed him for, but we'll probably make money on Mavropanos.
I think this is last year of his contract, to be honest.
Yeah, so again, it's decision time. If he then walks out, no one's going to bat an eyelid, and then Saliba comes in and takes over Holding's place.
Fair, I'd like to see him in the Euros, Mavropanos.
Yeah. I see he kept Haaland quiet the other day.
He put Haaland in his back pocket the other day.
Yeah.
I heard,
He put a prime Haaland, a priming Haaland in his back pocket. Like, we need to be realistic, right? You know, like, Mavropanos has been on loan for some time now, yeah? What Gumsa was saying about development, he's not just gone to Stuttgart and taken part. He's taken over the other centre-backs that are there. He's established himself. You know what I mean? Like,
I would like to see Mavropanos.
He's a bit older.
He wasn't bad here either. Really.
Yeah, he was.
Just injuries.
Yeah.
And just one more thing to touch on what Gunner's been saying as well. Sorry, Gunner. Saliba could learn a lot from being with Steve Bruce. That could be a very good loan for him. Do you know what I mean? When you're in a more of a defensive...
we had someone there who could have worked with Steve Bold.
Yeah. We don't look back at the past. He didn't do much with our defense. But no, I agree. At the same time, if you go and play in a team which is defensively structured well, he actually could come back and bring something to Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? Because they're more defensive. You might come and play for us and we're playing a bottom of the table team. He's not really learning much defending wise. He's really good on the ball. So actually go and play in them teams where they're defending for 90 minutes. You're going to learn a lot more in there than playing 15 games for us in the games which are easy, if that makes sense. So it might be a very important loan for him.
Yeah, and look. Right. To be clear on my side, I'm not saying I want him to go on loan. What I'm saying is, in those preseason games, if we assess him and he doesn't look ready for the Premier League, we shouldn't rush him into the Premier League. And a lot of people are just like, no. If he's not, a lot of people I've been speaking to are like, if he's not ready, I'd rather he went in there and we failed for a whole season, and then next season he got better. But it's like, what's that going to do to him mentally? You know, a year of this toxic fan base mentally, that'll probably destroy him.
Yeah, he may never recover.
Listen, that could make or break. I mean, do you know what? It can show, you could have the reverse effect of that to say, look, this is what this guy's about. He pulls everyone together. He is that, you never know, he might be a natural leader.
Unfortunately, Canis, I think right now we need to put the success of this club above one player and their development. Like, this is the second year in a row we finished 8th. The first we finished out of Europe. The first in a long time West Ham have finished above us. The 4th Tottenham have finished above us. You know, like, the whole ESL debacle. Like, we can't afford to take risks. We can't. We can't be sentimental.
Right there.
We can't do that. We can't do it.
There.
I'm sorry.
No, 100% agree with you. And that, in a nutshell, is, I guess, is where we are at this point in time as a club. And we need to actually make action, get things going, and be decisive. King, you spot on. Right. Action packed. Obviously, look, as we do, we've gone way on.
And we still got dancing tonight.
I can't wait for that one.
This one's going to be great. Yes, just a little plug for that. Tonight is going to be a great show on Gunslingers. You're going to have some boys on here again, plus Nigerian Englishman and Brezzy. We're all teamed up. You'll know the teams coming up. but we're picking our all-time Euro Championship players. One caveat: they've had to have played for Arsenal. It's going to be, and basically, guys, as well, you get to pick the best first 11 from the teams that we've all kind of come up with. So a bit of interaction from you guys, just to let you know that my team's probably going to be the one. But you guys, it's all good. You know, it's
got
good.
the dream team of me and Gumsa over here, like working on the. Oh dear,
It's all good. It's all good. You know what? For you guys turning up, you know, hey, if you don't shoot, you don't score. But you know, hey, I'm the R9 in this game right now, so just get it on. I can't wait for tonight.
Love, guys.
Guys, it's been great. Thank you very much.
Been emotional.
Listen, we'll catch up this evening, and everybody, thank you very much. It's been an absolute masterpiece with these guys. Thank you. We out.
We are Arsenal.
Wembley bound.
We love Arsenal.
Oh yes,
We are Arsenal.
no mercy.
We're Arsenal.